And as Eminem once said, guess who's back? Back again. Sully's back. Tell your friends.
Tell your
Tell your
friends.
friends to watch the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Beyond the Arc. I'm very happy because I don't have to sit here for 45 minutes and just randomly waffle to myself again. I can finally speak with my good friend Sully about what's been happening in the NBA.
That's
How are
good,
you
man.
feeling? How are you feeling today,
I'm
man?
good, bro. I'm good. I'm glad to be back, man. I'm glad to be back. Obviously, I watched the last episode, and I was quite proud, man. You did well, but obviously, I missed it though. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm back now, so it's calm.
Yeah. And as much as I'm happy to have you back, given that I did record it on Saturday, we are recording this on Wednesday. Not much has actually happened in the NBA, but we have still got a lot to talk about, both in the NBA and actually in our real lives. Because for the first time ever, we're actually going to talk about us actually playing basketball properly, which is something that we don't usually do. We probably should do it a little bit more often.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. 100%.
But yeah, but before we get into that, make sure that you are liking and subscribing on the video. Make sure that you are sharing it out, no matter what you listen on YouTube or any other podcast platform. Comment if you want to see any more stuff to do with real life basketball, as you're about to hear. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think after both of our performances, I don't think I really want to see it much more. But we'll happily talk about it.
No, this guy's lying. This guy's lying. Me and Sam, we played basketball with a few other people, and Sam was on fire. I'm not gonna lie. Sam was cold. I was not so cold. I was quite lukewarm. I was quite dry, but Sam was
Because I
Sam was.
think that's pretty generous calling yourself that. I'd say you were rivaling rivaling Russell Westbrook at points.
Okay, he's not. You
Yeah,
know what? I have to hold the violation because it's not even a lie. I was doing everything okay. My shooting was just on the floor. It was not
yeah, man.
happening for me. I got two in the end, but it wasn't good. I could have done better, but that was just the beginning. Next time, you're gonna be hearing some greatness, hopefully.
Yeah, I just got off the phone with Shaquille O'Neal, and I've just had to I've just had to persuade him not to put any of your highlights on Shaqtin' a Fool.
You're violating it. You're violating it. But he's not wrong, guys. I was appalling.
To be
The
fair, I
second,
didn't really. I didn't really do well. I didn't really do much better. I had a few bloopers
nah, this guy's
myself.
lying.
Uh,
This guy's lying. This
and
guy
I'm,
dropped like 12 points in the game or something. It was cold. It was
yeah,
nasty.
so Sully, you bring a lot to the table. You're a hype you're a hype man. You big me up too much. Um, you big everyone up too much. But overall, what are you thinking? Were you happy to get out there and get playing?
I was, man. I've not properly played again like that in a long time, so I feel like we just need to start doing it. Even me and you, we should just go play pickups or something, man. I think
Yeah,
it'd be a
yeah.
buzz, man. Like,
I'd play 21 with you.
yeah, 100%. I get smoked, but like, it's cool. It's cool.
Nah, man, my dribbling ain't on point. Did you see me just dribbling up the court and then just like fall over and commit a backcourt? Like,
I
I mean,
did, I did.
I got too excited. I was like, I saw my name in lights and then fell over.
But guys, our team did win the game. That is,
Yeah,
we did win the game.
and that's because we had Sully. Big up Sully.
Definitely not the reason.
Nah, yeah, obviously, that was a little bit of a little segue from the NBA. If you guys want to see some more about us talking about actual basketball, if you just want to see some real life basketball videos, which I genuinely suggest that you don't want to see.
I
Um,
mean, if you want to have a really good laugh, like if you want to really like just die laughing, then we'll make these videos for you because why not? Like,
yeah, I'm gonna say if you want to see us, I mean, I don't think I'd be able to advertise it as a basketball video, more like a bricklaying video.
building
Just
houses. Trust me,
just
I
us
was
building
building
it.
cathedrals the other day, bro. Yesterday, I was building a cathedral. It was peak.
Yeah, anyway, if you want to see some actual like real life stuff, don't wanna, I don't want to. I don't want to give you. I don't give you too many uh, like positive things about us playing basketball. But if you want to see something like that, then let us
Let
know
us
in the
know.
comments. But now on to the real basketball. I
Mhm.
think
Mhm.
you may say, and I think genuinely, I remember I put on the notes that I sent to you about what we're gonna do, and genuinely, one of the top things that I said is what hasn't LeBron done this week?
That's a fact.
Not even this week. These last 4 days, what hasn't
LeBron's
LeBron
name
done?
is actually there 4 times.
And if I'm honest with you, LeBron, I don't think I've actually put in the title of a podcast episode. So LeBron, this might be your week.
This
It
is
definitely is
definitely
your
his
week.
week. We need him. We need him. Oh,
So LeBron, I'm gonna just say it's a good thing that we weren't both on opposing teams because I can't lie, Sully. I'm not saying I'd have done it because I'm not saying I don't like you or anything, but I would have felt tempted to do what LeBron James did to Kevin Love. Just I'd have been LeBron
if
and
you
you'd
did
have
that
been.
to me, I would have quit this podcast. No, I can't lie. When I saw that, I remember I was on a bus and I watched that, and I had to just put my phone down for a second because I was like, he's actually has he actually just done that to his boy? Like, it's not even like it's just any like NBA player. That's his boy, and he violated his boy. I don't. I mean, if my boy did that to me, we're not friends anymore, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I think Kevin Love kind of took it a little bit a little bit lightheartedly. I mean, getting dunked on, getting posterized is probably not the best thing, but he did seem to kind of just laugh it off a little bit with LeBron. Um,
More forgiving than me, I'll tell you that. Like,
but yeah, poor Kevin Love, man. I mean, I do just like Kevin Love as a person. I think he's
yeah,
like,
he seems like a cool guy as well. Like,
yeah,
but that was I would have retired after that game, man. I'm not gonna lie. If I was him, that was
yeah.
that was crazy.
I mean, yeah, he came back to Cleveland and he did smoke him. To be fair, I mean, the Lakers. I don't even know what to. I don't even know what to say about the Lakers anymore. Like I was saying last time. I said maybe they might make the playoffs. We said a few
Mm.
weeks ago maybe they won't make the playoffs. Now it kind of looks like they might make the playoffs again. It's it's
It's
too
crazy, but I will say right now, a lot of teams in the West are hurt, and that might obviously LA are hurt a little bit with AD, but that might be what they need because I mean the Suns are without CP, Warriors are without Steph, and like a lot of other teams are just underperforming. Maybe this little boost can help them just get into the playoffs as well. Like we don't know if these teams are gonna be hurt going into the playoffs. Like if the Warriors are without Steph in the playoffs, I don't see them making it out of round one, round two. That's a fact. I'll be so real. I don't see them making it out of the second round at the most.
yeah. That's understandable. Second round, maybe.
And like the Suns, I don't see them making it past the semis without CP. That guy is the core of that team, and he makes everything run. So I think without him, that's a big miss. Like I feel like he would probably be back, but I don't know. And there is talks of like PG or Kawhi coming back for the playoffs. Like they both might be healthy, or one of them. That might be massive for them because especially if a lot of these teams in the West are hurt, the Clips they might capitalize. Who knows? But these teams, this might be like what they need to then just put themselves in the play-in or the playoffs or whatever. And this is because once LA in the playoffs, anything can happen.
Yeah, especially given that at the moment, I genuinely think. I mean, I've only been properly watching basketball for like 5 6 years now. This is probably
Mm.
the best I've seen LeBron play in a good long time.
In a minute.
Like what's I don't know what's stopping him from winning MVP this year, in my opinion.
The league just won't give it to him though, will they? Like they just won't.
The
And
guy's averaging 30 points per game at the age of 37.
but this is what's peak. Like if you take him off that LA squad, they're literally at the bottom.
Yeah,
They're
so
at the bottom.
he's the most
He is.
valuable
He
player.
is the most valuable player, but they won't give it to him. They won't give it to him. Like the league, they do this to a lot of the big players. Plus, after MJ, because obviously like MJ or like the bigger players at that time used to actually get MVP. Now it's kind of just like who was the best in the best team. So whoever the best team is, okay, who's their best player or they're the MVP. That's kind of how it works now. Like, and it just doesn't make sense because LeBron, for me and you, right now, is the most valuable player. You take him off that LA squad, they're at the bottom. Who is Westbrook carrying them? No chance. AD's out. And don't get me wrong, there's some contenders like everyone's saying Jokic or Embiid or whatever, but if you take them out, their teams won't be as worse for wear as LA are if LeBron ain't there.
Yeah,
So I
definitely.
agree with you. I think he's definitely the MVP, but they won't give it to him. They just won't give it to him.
I do think that Embiid might win it, but only because he hasn't won it before. Quite
Yeah, I
personally,
mean
I
that's
mean,
that's
I think it is like even I said last week it was a three-way. I didn't even include LeBron in it, but now I think Giannis, Jokic, Embiid, or LeBron. I mean, it
mm,
sucks not seeing DeMar there anymore, but yeah, it's between them four.
mm,
Um, in my opinion.
it's true. But I mean, the thing is, who knows? Because like it works off every week, and this last like month now, it's coming up. Not even a month, like 3 weeks until the playoffs, and it's a big 3 weeks, especially for these teams like LA and you know
Hmm.
Brooklyn, especially. Like they need to start, like they need to get themselves
Yeah,
a bit higher up, and this is like a big 3 weeks for them, and it's a
yeah.
big 3 weeks for
I'm,
LeBron.
yeah, I was saying one thing I was going to ask you because obviously you weren't here for the last
Yeah.
episode. Obviously, I talked about how I think the top 10 are solidified in each conference. Do you think that the Spurs have a chance of maybe taking over one of the teams that are ahead of them at the moment?
I don't know, man. They're just one of those teams right now. I just don't like. They're not bringing anything exciting. Not bringing anything like powerful, really, like that. Like especially not what they were. So I don't know. I don't see it, man. I agree with you. I think the top 10 is staying the way it is. I don't think it's changing really. Maybe nah, I don't know, man. I think at the most the top 10 itself will shift, but I don't think any of those 10 teams will leave the 10.
Yeah, I get that. No, yeah, that's what I was getting at last
Mm.
week too. No, yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. LeBron again. He then went and became second
Number
in all
2.
time point scoring in the regular season. He's crazy now. Like,
That's
like
he's
he just
mad.
had to lose that game though. They did it.
I mean, it's LA, so I'm not surprised. But the thing is, I can remember, and it's quite sad to think about because it was really like close to the time. It was just before um, Kobe actually passed. But I remember when he surpassed Kobe for the points to get to number 3, and that was only 2 years ago. And two
Yeah,
years later, he's number 2 now.
yeah,
Like, it's only a matter of time. And
yeah.
once he does that and gets that number 1 because he's coming, I think is done. I think it's done.
When the goal debate.
Oh yeah, it's books shut and sealed. It's finished. Like,
Yeah, so he's just over 1,000 away from Kareem.
come on, bro. That's not a lot. That's not a lot.
A Lakers legend.
Mm.
Say, Matt, like if he stays with the Lakers next year, he could overtake that whilst being a Laker.
I mean, who knows? Is Bronny in the next draft or is it the one after? That's what I want to know.
I have no idea, man.
I mean,
I'm just
I'll
laughing at the fact that he might be playing for Orlando before he retires. That's hilarious.
imagine. I just want to quickly check because then obviously that would be like a big factor
Yeah,
in where
definitely.
he's playing.
Yeah.
I just want to
I mean,
see.
or like imagine him on the Thunder with all them draft picks. That'd be sick. Yeah, when he
2024.
plays. Okay, so it's a while back. So it's not this year, not next
Not
year.
this year, the next one. So in that case, I feel like he probably will stay, depending on if AD stays and if they can do something nice in the off season, they'll probably offload Westbrook. They might, I mean, Damian Lillard. I don't know, but who knows?
I don't know if you'd want Dame at the moment. Quite personally, maybe that's a hot take, but you've seen Ben Simmons has been out of it for not even a year,
Hmm.
and look at he's quote unquote from Steve Nash can't do anything at the moment, which I think that could either be taken two ways. That could be he's a bit too injured, he can't really do much,
Hmm.
or he's seen him play and he has decided that Ben Simmons can't do anything.
I'm gonna take it as I think that he's just too injured because I do actually think once Ben Simmons is healthy, he will add that defensive support that the
I
Nets
think
are
a
missing.
lot of obviously I think this year if Philly win the chip this year, they've won the trade because that's what they traded for James Harden for. They've gotten out of
Yeah,
that trade, but this isn't such a massive L for the Nets. I think a lot of people are quite dismissive of the fact that Ben Simmons is one of the best defensive players in the NBA at the moment.
yeah,
Or
100%,
well, he was last year.
100%. And to be honest, like I'm not surprised. Obviously, the people, the NBA fans, they don't really they take everything into consideration, especially defense. Like it's quite like a overlooked thing. Like in
Yeah, it's
NBA,
why it's why people like Draymond are
yeah,
overlooked. If you're not putting up a lot of points, you're not really someone
100%.
that gets considered a lot.
But like if you look at that Warrior squad, when Draymond was out, they were losing week in, week out. And then the first game with the big three since however many years, and they won like by someone crazy. And I
Hmm.
think Steph dropped like 47, something stupid. And that was the first game that them three played together in since 2020 or something mad like that.
I would say it was since the finals,
Since the finals.
since
Yeah,
2019
before
finals.
just before that game that Clay got injured, that was the last time they all three played together. And that just shows how important a strong defensive player is. And I think probably next season, when Ben Simmons is fully healthy, I think that Nets team is going to be actually dangerous this time. I think
Yeah,
they've had their, oh, are they good now? Are they not? But I think at that point, yeah, it's done.
yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah. So yeah, I completely agree. I don't know what I was going to add on to that. Yeah, I completely agree. Anyway, back to the Lakers. Obviously, LeBron. LeBron is almost the best scorer of all time, which I always say is the only thing that people give to Michael Jordan at the moment. I feel like other than rings and
Mm.
the impeccable finals record, that's probably. I mean, Michael Jordan ain't even number one in scoring, but obviously he had that. He won like 32 points per game across his whole career.
Yeah, that's
So
mad. I mean, like LeBron's already number one for scoring in terms of like all games, so playoffs and
yeah,
regular
yeah,
season
playoffs as
combined.
well.
He's already number one. Like that's crazy.
Hmm.
And all it takes now is like he could do it at the
I would say
beginning of next season,
a,
maybe
a
even
thousand a thousand points. That's what like 40-ish 3-point games. My maths might not be it. Uh, yeah, about 33-ish. A thousand points is about 33-ish 30
mm.
point games. And, we know that LeBron's going to average about 25 a night.
And then he might have like a 50-point game here and there.
Yeah, but obviously this year he's actually averaging 30.
Mm.
I'm checking his career stats. He's only averaged 30 across the season twice before this season.
That's
And to
mad.
say that the guy's been, classed as one of the goats forever, it's crazy that he's actually hitting this in
At
year
such a late age.
in year 18 or year
That
19
is
or whatever it is. Yeah,
crazy. Every time I just see because like he'll do something crazy in a game and people will just put this is year 18 and that just makes me think like
yeah, 19 or something. It's crazy.
19, bro.
Yeah,
That's longer than me and you have been on this earth. He's been playing in the NBA.
for long. Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
And yeah, I mean, it's the fact that he's managed to keep this longevity across
Mm.
his whole career. Like, I know you say he's been doing this ever since we've been born,
Literally.
and that's mad. I mean, again, I'm looking at I'm comparing with the ending stats of like Michael Jordan and that.
Mm.
Michael Jordan was man, he was mad in his prime. Like he was averaging like 35 per night,
Yeah.
which meant that him only averaging 20 points per game in his final season was good enough to still get a 30.1. Sorry, not
Yeah.
32 um, career average.
Which is still mad. To say
So
he was at the Wizards, bare old. He was still
yeah,
averaging 20. That's quite mad.
yeah, but the fact is, LeBron is. You can arguably say that this is a better standard of basketball, and LeBron is still keeping
You
the
could say that.
standard. He's arguably getting better
You could say that.
in the last 3 seasons. So yeah, I mean, I've gone on record multiple times and said that he's probably the GOAT. In my opinion, I'm a Chicago fan, so
See,
recognize greatness where it is, I guess.
you have to. And to be honest, I mean, the debate will always stay, and the debate will always be there until the next guy comes
hmm
along.
hmm
But I think once he overtakes Kareem, because it's gonna happen. Let's be real, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah,
Once he does that, it's done.
yeah.
I I've always thought is like I've never been 100% on one person. I've always thought maybe it's MJ, maybe it's LeBron. Once that happens, you'll never hear me argue the other side ever.
Fair, fair. That's crazy.
Hmm.
Anyway, I think we've talked about LeBron enough. Moving on from the King of Toronto to the King of New York.
The man that owns New York. That's what it should be.
He's got the keys to New York. I mean, I saw a thing that said the New York state should be focusing on banning Trae Young from New York arenas, not Kyrie Irving. Because I've never been Trae Young's biggest fan. I always thought that he goes missing in big games. I'm looking at towards the back end of their playoff run last year.
Hmm.
I felt like he wasn't as much of a leader as he was earlier on. But like, put that man in Madison Square Garden, and he will go off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's actually crazy how mental he is.
Well,
45 point night.
he went crazy.
Yeah,
And the thing is, that's not the first time against New York. I don't know why he does this to them. Like these New York fans, they've been deprived of good basketball for a long, long time, man. Like they need to be freed, and Trae Young is not freeing them. And it's actually so peak because I actually like the Knicks. The Knicks are one of those teams you just either like or you don't like. And all throughout growing up watching basketball, it's just always one of them teams I wanted to see do well. They've got a big presence in basketball culture, and New York has a big presence on like just itself, like New York as a city and as a state. And like I always want to see them do well, and then I see things like this, Trae Young absolutely violating them, and it just sends New York back like 30 years, and it's so mad. But then I seen a video today. I actually sent it to you like just a bit before this. I don't think
yeah,
you would have seen it,
yeah, yeah.
and it was all these New York fans just saying, "Yeah, we don't like Trae Young," and then they said, "Would you take him on the Knicks?" They were like, "Absolutely, absolutely."
Because I mean, why not? He's just that good. I mean, acknowledge greatness when you see it,
100%,
especially when it's in your own backyard. I
hundred
mean,
percent.
I don't know, man. The Knicks are just down at the moment, and genuinely, I'll be very surprised if Tom Thibodeau is still in charge of that team at the end of this season. I'll be so surprised. He's stuck in the past, man. I mean, it's always good to have good vets on your team,
Veterans, 100%.
but but telling Taj Gibson he's 37 in July to close out defense in the crunch time against Trae Young. What are you thinking, man? That's never gonna work.
He wanted to get him retired, man. He wanted to get him retired. He watched him get his ankles snapped, and he was like, "Yep, that's it. He's done now. Now I've got a space on my roster." But
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. I mean, I saved a few tweets
mm,
um, after after the game. New York fans saying that Trae Young really just told Taj Gibson that it's time to be an NBA analyst with one move. Um, uh,
Damn.
Taj Gibson calling his AARP rep tonight.
E-
I mean, Tibbs once again choosing to develop Taj Gibson and giving him important minutes instead of playing Obi Toppin. And then that made me think, like, the fact that Taj Gibson in the year of our Lord 2022 is averaging 18 minutes on the Knicks this season in 45 games.
It,
It's
it
it's
really
not it's
it
not
really
right.
speaks on like the depth or the lack of depth that they have though.
Yeah, but it also speaks on the fact that Tom Thibodeau doesn't know how to use young players.
He doesn't
You know,
like change. You know what I mean?
he's
Like,
just he's just happy with all these old Chicago boys that he's brought in from his past. You know, players like Cam Reddish, who's he's only been given 14 minutes a game to. People like Obi Toppin. Obviously, not the dunk contest doesn't have as much like pizzazz
yeah, ratings
as
as
it
it
used
did.
to. But the fact is, Obi Toppin has been in the dunk contest for 2 years in a row, and he is averaging 15 minutes a game in the NBA. You know, usually you do choose people for the dunk contest that have to be in the game for long enough to do memorable dunks, and Tom
Mm,
Thibodeau just ain't doing that to him. And if I'm honest with you, I'm not saying that Obi Toppin or Cam Reddish or maybe even Jericho Sims are going to be amazing players, but the fact is, you're not going to make the play-in. You're not going to make the playoffs. You're tanking. You're tanking for these last 10 games of the season. Develop these young guys.
100%,
You
hundred
know,
percent.
it's like I say, it's good to have vets like Taj Gibson, like Derrick Rose, like Kemba Walker,
Mm.
just about like Alec Burks. But you can't, stop playing them for so long. Like, how are you going to develop these young players when you're playing the likes of Taj Gibson for 20 minutes against the Hawks, like a
I
team that
completely agree.
you're rivaling? Right, I can't say that word. Rivaling with. I should
I,
stop putting myself in positions where I have to say that word. Um, so yeah, if Tom Thibodeau is still in a job after this season, I'll be very surprised. I'll be very surprised if they don't just get rid.
I feel like the next job is a big one as well because obviously, like I said, they have the reputation, and as well, they have the potential to make something decent of their team. Like they've got their core, they've got the young guys who can be developed, like we said. And if they get a coach who's willing to do that, then they can actually become something. Like for me personally, I know obviously we always joke about it, but I think Julius Randle and RJ Barrett can.
Oh no, yeah, that's yeah, 'cause that's another thing I was gonna say. You can complete a rebuild with that team pretty quickly,
Mm,
especially given that you're going to be getting rid of Kemba Walker in the summer.
hmm
Obviously, his value is probably very low at the moment.
Oh yeah, I mean
I don't think many people want Kemba Walker at the
when they
moment.
picked him up, like it seemed like they they were onto something, but the guys just. He, I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know what happened to his NBA career, but it's not there anymore.
yeah, but the fact is, you're still probably gonna get something from him. You know, whether that
Yeah.
be decent draft stock or a decent role player, maybe.
Mm.
You know, I was saying at the start of the season, you know, Derrick Rose could have gone back to Chicago in a trade for someone like Kobe White.
Could have
Um,
been. Could have been.
but in the end, in the end, it didn't happen. Probably for the better. I can't lie. I love Derrick Rose, but I feel like from
You
Chicago's
need
point
to.
of view,
I think
probably not.
Chicago need to keep the core
Yeah,
young
exactly.
guys that
So
they've got because it's going well.
yeah, so it's got to. You can't not. You can complete a rebuild pretty quickly with that team. You just need
Mm.
to be committed to playing these young players, and why not do it now when you have nothing to lose, pretty much.
Mhm. 100%.
You know, they're e- they're either they're probably not gonna finish below Indiana, so they're either gonna finish that 11th or 12th place.
Mm.
That won't really change much on your draft stock. You're probably still gonna be in the same position in the draft,
Mm.
no matter where you finish there. So hey, my rant's over. What are you thinking? Sorry, I've kind of cut you
I
off a little
mean,
bit.
I just completely agree with what you're saying, and like you said, a rebuild on New York is quite simple and it's quite easy to do. It's not like they've got nobody. They've got two, in my opinion, good basketball players, a few good young players who can be developed, and some players who can be shipped off for decent assets to like try and make something out of New York. Maybe try and get them in the top 10 next year and just keep building from there, because it's one of those things that's going to take time. But if you look at the big teams now, a lot of them are filled with older players who aren't getting any younger. If you look, like, there's a few. I mean, the Suns, you can pick them out. They've got quite a young-ish core. The Bucks, Memphis, but there's not that many. Like, for example, if you look at the Warriors, amazing team, amazing squad, but their guys, a lot of them, I mean, their three biggest players are getting old. Like, they're getting older. They're not going to be able to perform like the way they're performing now in the next 3 years. And that is when these teams now who are trying to be on the rise can take over and make those teams collapse. But they need to start now. They can't wait for the next
Yeah.
3 years and be like, actually, now we'll give Derrick Rose.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, especially given that someone like Julius Randle is going to be wanting to be playing NBA playoff basketball.
100%. And RJ Barrett, especially, I think that guy's a really good basketball player.
No, yeah,
And
definitely me too.
and like them two are the best players in that team. And I feel like they will stay. I feel like they'll stay committed to New York for now. Hope, like, on the hope that someone will put in this investment into New York and help fix that team. Otherwise, I can see them both saying, "All right, cool, see you later."
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Anyway, moving on before we get to the predictions,
Mm.
a little bit on Miami, who, I've been saying I ain't really bought them as a proper contenders.
Mm-hmm.
They then went and lost to Philadelphia, who were without Embiid and Harden during the week.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think that Miami are another Utah Jazz, or
Utah
do we
Jazz. I
think
literally, I was that exactly what I was gonna say. They
or
are
do you
the
think,
next Utah, and it's a shame because they have a lot of good players, like individually, and they have a good team on paper, but they're just unserious in my opinion. You can't take them seriously, man. If you can't put them in the same conversation as like the Bucks or the Warriors or the Suns or Memphis or whoever, you can't put them in their conversation because I see all those teams beating them in a 7 game series, all of them
fair?
with ease,
Fair.
and it's it almost doesn't make sense. Like, I don't understand. Like, they've got, like, if you name the players, like, oh, Jimmy Buckets, Bam, like Tyler Hero, who's as a 6 month this year has been unreal. They've had Kyle Lowry, like some good players, but they've not had it. They've not had it,
Hmm.
and they're performing against the teams below them that aren't that strong because that's what they're gonna do. That's how they're keeping themselves up. But in the games that matter, they're just not there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and that's coming from a Bulls fan who are allergic to beating teams above them at the moment through the whole season.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm just I'm just looking at the the conferences at the moment, and they are 2 games ahead of Milwaukee. Do we reckon that they're going to manage to hold that place down, or do you think they might actually slip further down? You've got Milwaukee 2 games behind them, and then Philly and Boston 2.5 games behind them. Boston have had a great second half of the season. They've done like
Boston
four,
picked it
five
up,
of them.
man. They really showed us up because I remember, like, towards the start of this season of the podcast, we were like talking smack on Boston, man. We did not rate them, and they've shown out, and I like that. I'm really happy because I like the Celtics, man. They've got a good core, and they're gonna be a
Yeah,
great team if they can keep what they've got.
yeah,
And I'm really happy that they've actually proved me wrong because I
yeah,
love seeing them. I'm gonna
yeah,
enjoy watching them in the playoffs. But I feel like Miami will probably slip a bit. Like, obviously these good teams have games behind, and
yeah.
they're gonna
And
pick up wins
yeah,
most likely.
I am looking at their remaining games. I'm just pointing out Golden State, Brooklyn, Boston, Chicago, Toronto, Atlanta still left to play with Charlotte and New York kind of just in there. and then a few games against teams that are already like dead and out of the
I see them
playoff
picking
run.
up 2 wins max out of all those games. 2, 3
Whoa,
wins.
that's a hot take.
I don't see them. Curry's not there.
Because because let's be honest, one of them is going to be against Chicago, and then
Well,
you
you
kind
don't
of
know. You don't know.
I
Like
know no I do know.
it's a battle. It's a battle of okay. Both of these teams aren't really beating the big team, so who's gonna win? That one is a here and there. I feel like they will beat New York. They would probably beat Charlotte. You said Charlotte, right?
I did say Charlotte.
Yeah. And then they might beat the Warriors. Because without Steph right now, they kind of
They
just
haven't been that good. Yeah, they lost to Orlando the other night.
they did. I think they're just riding out till the playoffs, and because they know they're in the playoffs, I don't think they mind which seed they're in right now.
Yeah.
I saw Draymond say second or third seed, but we're winning the chip. I mean, they probably will go in third seed, maybe second. I know like between them and Memphis, it's like only by 1 game. But once they make playoffs, and I think I saw an interview this morning. Steph said he should be back just before the playoffs. So then I think then they'll be strong. But that's
I
why
mean,
right now,
I'm going to say I can personally see him being one of those players that plays through injury through the playoffs, especially after especially after what Giannis came out with the other week. Did you see that he was like he played through the whole finals with like he was like like this close to tearing his ACL,
no way.
and
I didn't even see that.
he played through the finals. Yeah,
That's
so I
crazy.
think
100%. If
you know
when playoffs come, I think he'll play
any-
regardless.
anything happens. Yeah, you kind of just persevere through it.
Mm. And I mean
So
that's what KD did in the 2020.
yeah,
Like we all knew he was injured, but he played anyway. And then obviously he tore his ACL. We all
yeah,
saw that,
yeah,
and I feel like he'll probably play regardless. It's just about like if he's on 100% or whatever. But
yeah.
right now they're not that strong. I think Miami could beat them. That's a could. So I think they'll
Yeah.
get 2 3 wins max out of all those games.
Cool. Fair. Well, that's pretty much everything we've got to talk about through what's happened in the NBA over the past few days. Um, the predictions last week, we had a bit of a stinker. Obviously, I gave mine on the video. Sully gave his on the Instagram. Check that out if you haven't already at the official BTA podcast. And yeah, we both had a bit of a stinker. And there was only one instance where someone guessed the player of the game correctly, and that
Is
was
it
me
me or
coming
you?
in. It was me coming in clutch with Trae at the end.
Oh yeah. Actually, you did because I said it'd be RJ.
Yeah. So it led to me winning again. I'm now 7-4 up. Obviously, there's still plenty of time. There'll probably be some like mega
I
thing
mean,
to
there's
do
still
with
three
like
weeks and then
conferences,
playoffs. So
and
what are we doing for playoffs? Are we predicting like who's gonna like what? How are we predicting each round? Or are we gonna just predict who's actually
I think.
making it to the conference finals?
Oh, we'll probably predict each round, but I can potentially, we can take advice from you guys in the comments.
I like how you did that. I like how you did that.
So leave a comment, depending on what you want to see, when it comes to actually playoff time in terms of these predictions. But before we get into that, we actually have this week's predictions, and we're starting with a rematch of last week. Again, it was very close. Ended 108-110. Mavs at the Timberwolves this time. Obviously, the Timberwolves went to Dallas. They lost. Patrick Beverley and Luca had a bit of a thing. Um, like Patrick Beverley likes to have with pretty much every single NBA
Every
player.
single player.
This time, Doncic was on his radar, and well, it's back. Well, it's back to Minnesota now, and obviously we both predicted Cat last week,
Both wrong.
and we were both wrong because Luca took over and ended up winning, and I've gone with Luca this time.
Okay, that's good because I believe that Cat will get his revenge, get his one back. So I actually think Cat has this one.
Fair. Next up, Bucks at the Grizzlies. Memphis have been good this year.
Memphis
You know,
have
I
been
feel like we don't
good,
talk about
man.
Memphis enough.
Memphis have been good.
You know, they've been without Ja Morant for a lot
And,
this season as well. You
mm,
know, they're without him at the moment, which I feel might hinder them a little bit here.
100%.
And as a result, I'm going with Giannis as the main man to bring them over against Memphis in the battle of the second seed in each conference.
There's really only one answer, but you know what? I'm gonna say that. No, that's a bit of a stupid guess. You know what? I'm I'm gonna say Drew.
Okay, that fair. Who were you thinking before?
Chris Middleton, but I was like, nah, that's stupid, man.
Okay, fair enough. Well, you have clown paint on your face if he gets the player of the game.
Oh my days. Imagine.
We'll come back to this moment. Videos taken before disaster.
This clip will be at the start of the next one. And
and then it'll pan to Sully with clown paint on his face. 76ers at the Suns. This might be the game that the Suns clinched the best record in the NBA, which is one of the main reasons why I put it on there, as well as the fact that it's between two big teams in each conference. I think if the Suns do it against the Sixers
that's a
without
big
Chris
statement.
Paul, that's a big statement. You know, you were saying you don't think that the Suns can make it far without Chris Paul. I mean, they've been bossing the NBA even in his absence.
I mean, they have dropped off very slightly, but they are still good. I just think in like 7 game series, the guy is like, he's the point guard for a reason, and I think he just makes that whole team tick. Like in regular season, I feel like they will probably survive game here and game there, but I think playoffs is different. But this game, I mean, it's a massive one,
Who are you
and
going with?
I mean, are they gonna play though? Are Embiid and Harden gonna play, or are either of them gonna play? Are one of them? I don't know. It's hard to say. So for that reason, I'm gonna say Devin Booker is gonna do a special. Or what
I
he
don't
likes
like
to
it
do.
when I don't like it when I let you go first.
I know,
Although
because I always say what you wanna say.
I guess to be fair, you were probably going to say Giannis for that last one, weren't you? So I guess it kind of just goes hand in hand. In in the case of
Mm-hmm.
good sportsmanship, I'll let you have Booker, and I'm going to say Mikhail Bridges.
Okay. You know what? I
I
like Mikhail. I like Mikhail.
Yeah, I usually go with Aiton in these cases, but the fact
Mm.
is, if Embiid is back, then I don't think he's
Oh
going to
yeah,
get very
he's not.
good.
But that's
So
just the thing, because if Embiid is there,
you I still think the Suns are going to win regardless. So
oh really?
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Anyway, next up, the Timberwolves are back at the Celtics this time, the high-flying Celtics. Interconference matchup. You've already predicted a cat win. Are we
hmm
off for a two? Are we off for a two in a row, cat, or are we?
I'll let you go first. I'll let you go first.
Okay, so I'm going for the Celtics. Um, I feel like I know I'm going with Jason Tatum, but I feel like even if that's the case, you might go with Jalen Brown because you like Jalen Brown a lot. But
I was gonna say Jalen. That's the thing, but that's why I thought I'd let you speak first because I didn't know what you was gonna say. But yeah, I was gonna say Jalen. I'm a big fan, and
I mean, I really like him.
mm,
He's very good inside shooting guard. We don't have many of them anymore.
yeah, no, I really like him. I think although him and Jason are usually the guys to show up, but I think this is just gonna be a Jalen Brown game.
Fair. Penultimate game: Warriors at the Grizzlies. Second and third in the conference. The Warriors haven't been doing that well. Obviously, the Grizzlies without Jar at the moment as well. Um, what we thinking maybe? I'll
Even
let you go
though
first.
even though I was talking before saying that they're kind of weak without Steph and everything, I think Clay's warmed up after the drought of 2 years, and I'm seeing him now performing the way he was performing. I I saw him. I think it was a 35+ game, something like that. Not that long ago, a few weeks ago, a couple of weeks. So for that reason, I think him and Draymond, they're gonna work well. I think Clay's gonna do it. I hope so.
Fair enough. I think I'm going for a little bit of an unorthodox approach for this one. I think the Grizzlies are going to win,
Hmm.
but I'm not going for your guards. I think this one might be a Jaren Jackson Jr. kind of game.
You reckon?
I think he has one of those games every now and then. He's a very solid performer, but he has one of those games where he explodes for like 20, 30.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
I think Draymond's gonna lose his head. I think
You
we
think?
might
You
we
think he's
might
not
see
gonna
an
be able to
eject,
guard him?
we might see an ejection on this one,
Okay.
and I think Jaren Jackson's gonna
If
thrive in that.
Draymond gets ejected, you can win the whole week. Forget
Okay.
everything because you've just that's like a major, like that's just a random prediction. Do you know what I'm saying? So if Draymond gets ejected, no matter what the score is, I can be up on every single game. You can have the week.
All right, so I still have hope. That's good. And then finally, Bucks at the Sixers. I have a feeling we might have gone for the same person here. I feel like I might have gone for Giannis again, but if you let me have Giannis for the last one, I think I might. I might be nice and let you have
I
Giannis.
mean, I think James Harden's gonna play. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
I don't think Harden's gonna miss this game.
Okay. Well, so are you saying that
I'm thinking Jameson.
Okay, so I'm doubling up on Giannis this week.
Doubling up.
Yeah, I'm like you with Steph in the olden days.
I mean, if Steph was here, then I would have said Steph in the last one. But I mean, I just don't see James Harden missing a game where it's like a big statement in terms of the playoffs around the corner. It's a massive game. These teams are probably going to meet at some point in the later stage of the playoffs, if not the conference final. I feel like this is a game he's going to come and perform. And because he's been doing really well at Philly, like the guy's been flying at Philly. I think this is where he's going to just say, okay, now I'm at Philadelphia. Like, I think that's the one for him.
Fair enough. So, well, I'm doubling down on Giannis. You can't not bet against Giannis, in my opinion.
You can't, to be fair. It's hard to go against Giannis, but I'm just doing it.
Fair. Well, will it prove to be costly for him, or will Draymond get ejected and it not even matter?
Imagine.
Find out next week. I will genuinely. I'll be the first person to send you it in the morning if he does get ejected. So.
I believe you as well. I believe you. I know I'll wake up to be like, oh my god, Jim, I got ejected. I just know it's gonna happen now.
But anyway, that concludes the return of Sully on the Beyond the Arc podcast. Let us know if you missed him by leaving a like on the video.
They definitely missed me, man.
Yeah, let's be honest. Me just carrying the podcast ain't really it.
No. It sounds good. I'm just nice. They just like it.
Is
We'll
the real
see.
deal.
We'll compare the views from the last one to this one, and we'll see who did they like more. Because if you're up, then you're up. Then I'll say,
What we need to do, we need you to carry a podcast episode on your own without me, and then
that's gonna be crazy because I've never done anything like that.
You'll send me back the footage. It'll be like 3 hours long because you'll have gone off on some like mad tangents. You'll start talking about New York, and you'll end up talking about college basketball for some reason. Like,
and then out of nowhere, Julius Randle comes onto the podcast, and I've got Julius Randle on the podcast.
I'm like, what is this?
Why am I here? What's this?
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like to leave a like, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Comment, share it around no matter what you're listening on. Tell your friends to watch the podcast. And we will see you guys next week as we aim towards the end of the NBA season. Peace.